HTML code behaves like a Teletubby and a waterfall. Let's find out how. So welcome to this video on the Multimedia Sherpa channel. What we're going to look at is basic HTML code. Now if you've never made a website before, what you want to do is quickly pause this video and mark down all this code here in just using Notepad or similar program. So once you've done that, what you've effectively done is gone most of the way to creating a web page. So what we'll do is we'll quickly save that as a web page, and I'll talk you through the tags, and then I'll explain how this HTML is like a waterfall and indeed a Teletubby. So if we go File, Save As, I'm just going to save it on the desktop. You might want to save it in a more organized fashion. So we have to put the name of your page .html, and then you want to change the Save As type to all files, and make sure the encoding is the ANSI, and we'll save that. And then what we'll do in our folders, we'll go to here, we can see it, and I'm going to open it with Internet Explorer, although I would suggest that you guys open it with any other browser apart from Internet Explorer. In a few tutorials time you'll see why Internet Explorer isn't generally the best idea for web development. So what we'll do is we'll look at what the code's actually doing, and then we'll talk about it a bit further. So you can notice each tag is surrounded by a greater than and a less than tag, and that there are duplicates of each tag. So there's a HTML tag at the top, HTML tag at the bottom, a head tag for the head of the page, and another one here, and the differences are these forward slashes, and what these signifies, this is an opening tag, this is a closing tag. Opening tag, closing tag, opening tag, closing tag, and you can see that there's a pattern. And what that does is it allows us to segment the page. Now what's happening on the page here is this is where the kind of the Teletubby theory comes in, because HTML pages behave in the same way. Now I've taken the liberty of drawing this brilliant Teletubby portrait. Apologies, but the head of the page acts in the same way as the head of a Teletubby. It's where all the thinking happenings, brain fart. It's where all the thinking happens, and we can see here we've got this title tag which changes this tab up here. So if we were to change that to I don't know, and save that and refresh the page here, it changes what's happening there. It doesn't actually affect what's happening in the middle of the page. That's what happens in the body. So everything you put in the body tag will come up in the main part of the web page, or in this case in the middle of the Teletubby. So that's enough of that. But basically, if I whatever I change in here, again, will be changed on here. So anything that's in the body is what the user can see, and generally whatever happens in the head of the document is something clever behind the scenes. So hopefully that's clear. And I also said how HTML acts like a waterfall, and this is because it works in a cascading fashion. So what we can see is we've got H1 title, we've got a H2 title and a paragraph title. Now what's going to happen is, hopefully, when I delete the H2 closing tags, you see we've opened the tag, we've closed it, what should happen, and this happens for most tags, not all, is that by not closing it, it's going to affect the paragraph tag later on. So it should kind of nullify this tag here because it's not being closed, and it has that kind of same effect as water. If you don't stop it, it's going to continue pouring down over everything. So we'll save that and then refresh it. We should see, there we go, the paragraph tag then becomes null and void. So it's always a good idea when you're creating a website using HTML to make sure that your every tag that you open closes. As I say, there are a few anomalies, but for the main part, it's a good rule of thumb to follow. So that is a very basic introduction into HTML. If that's the first time you've done it and you've completed it, you've just actually coded your first web page. So thumbs up there. We're going to look at more things in the future. We're going to look at inserting images, and then we're going to have a look at the different types of CSS, inline, embedded, and external. Okay, cheers.